everyone, welcome back to BrandsTalk, a show to help you develop and grow your brand in a more authentic and sustainable way, locally and globally. Whether it's your personal brand or company brand, your branded product, service, or cause. My name is Brigitte Bukowski. I'm a global and personal branding strategist. I help my clients unleash their full potential to effectively elevate their personal and organizational brands so that they can authentically shine. So let's get started and dive with me into the world of brands. Today, my guest is Fiona Djapouras. Fiona is a qualified and experienced executive coach who works with women who are ready to create their own version of an extraordinary life. Having worked in corporate executive roles herself, Fiona understands the importance of being authentically yourself in all aspects of your life. Fiona helps you to reach your full potential personally and professionally. Fiona's approach is transformational as she works with you to uncover and clear the stories that have been holding you back and then builds a vision with you of the life you wish to live. I warmly welcome Fiona Djapouras. Welcome to BrandsTalk.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored today.
I'm also honored having you on my show today. And
Thank you.
before we start digging into the change in life and transformations that you help people with, can you tell us your own personal story, your journey that brought you right there where you are now? What's your story?
Thank you. Sure, I'd love to share. I've been working in the corporate world for many years, and as my children got a little bit older, I started looking for more. You know, you're busy when they're young and you're trying to get just through all the things that you need to get through.
Mhm.
And I got to a crossroads in a previous role where I started to feel like, is this what I was here for? What is my purpose? And am I living the way I want to live? And I started doing some change management at uni. I did a CTC natural therapies training through another training organisation. And in that, they were both. I realised they were both working on people skills, um, frameworks, and learnings about how to be more content and more authentic. And I realised I hadn't been living to my true authentic purpose. So I that was in around 2017, and the reason I started my journey before that had started earlier when I wanted to give my kids different tools in life about how to do things. So it came up as, how do I give them tools about when things aren't going right, when they need to dig deep, when they need to just sort of understand themselves a little bit better, and how do they get to a point where they know who they are at an earlier age than me. So I went through this process when I'm a lot of the change management and my CTC specialty. You undertake a lot of the healing and the learning yourself. So you start with yourself. And so during that process, I realized I loved working with people. I loved working in that conversational space, teaching, facilitating transformation. So when I but I also love being in the corporate world. So when I realized that, I was looking for ways to bring them both together. So I do have an executive coach, and I do a coaching programs with people, but I'm also a project and change specialist that I work in the executive world. And I love bringing it all together, because I think that when you're doing any type of change at work, whether you're a project manager or a change manager, coaching people through is amazing. Giving people tools to help themselves, which is what you do in coaching, that's where you actually create transformational and permanent change. I didn't want to just do things that ticked a box. I actually wanted to help uncover these things for people. So I now have been doing this now for 4.5 years, 5 years, and I feel like every day is a brand new, beautiful, passionate day ahead, that I bring all this together, and that life is this unfolding journey that will continue to show me how to bring even more enlightenment to other people and myself.
Okay, that sounds awesome. And yeah, kudos to you because you're still a corporate and you started your own business at the same time.
Yes,
And sometimes
yes,
really, I think you want to bring everything together, first of all. But isn't it also a challenge to bring everything under one umbrella and do everything at the same time? I mean, the week only has that many hours and it's like
yes.
24/7. So, how do you go about that? Having this own business, but at the same time, a corporate job?
Yeah. I'm flexible, and surprisingly the clients have turned up for my personal business when I've been able to do them. So we've got we it just felt like it was the right time for them. And I think when you don't look at, I'm not too sort of fixed on when it happens. I might see clients, I've got clients in the States that I might see at 5 a.m. my time, which is their afternoon, and that works for me. I might see clients on a Saturday. So I make that time work because a lot of people also work full time and they're working, they see people on their weekends. That's never been a worry, actually. It's always just worked out. Um, and I do have a lot of balls in the air because I'm a mum and I've got my jobs and things like that. But I always find somehow when you turn up with intention and um, just sort of focused on your purpose, things just work out.
Hmm.
And I actually have to be really willing to go with the flow as well. So if things don't get done, it's like, well, okay, what's the biggest thing about this? How do we make it happen? And something, I've got some little affirmations that I might repeat, and I don't know how, I don't need to know how, but thank you for this, making this happen. And suddenly paths open up where I didn't see a path before.
Yeah, wonderful. All right. So that is so exciting. I have so many questions. I don't even know where to start. So it's all about transformation. And transformation, our professional, but also personal lives are very often not easy. There are fears involved
Yeah.
and beliefs that are holding us back. And we also catch up us while making these changes that we cannot stick to them. We cannot stay in the
Mm,
momentum and find ourselves back in the old way of doing things. So, how do
yes.
we overcome this resistance to change? I mean, sometimes we give ourselves the permission and the go to start it, but then we are kind of hesitant and the fear kicks in again, and then we find ourselves back in our old
Yeah.
where we actually don't want to be anymore. So, how do we do that?
I think it's really important to understand why we fear change as well.
Mhm.
So, the brain is wired to keep you safe. And keeping you safe means that you know what you're doing, you have certainty in the routine. Even if the routine doesn't serve you, the certainty is comfortable.
Mhm.
We know that, so neuroscience research shows us that uncertainty feels uncomfortable for us. So knowing that innately about us really helps. So when you're going to do something new, oh my gosh, I might resist this. There's
Mhm.
also people that are attached to the story that they tell themselves about things. And, that's the beautiful similarity about what you do in branding. You create a story for people to see. But whether we recognize it or not, we create a brand for ourselves. So
Mhm.
the story could be, it never works out for me. No matter how much I try, it never works out. And how many people do you know start an experience with that story? And where are they going to end? They're only going to end with it not working out because that's all that they're putting out.
Mhm.
The change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing. And that's Tony Robbins said that. I'm not sure if other people have said it as well, but that statement sticks with me so much because we know that change can be painful. And sometimes people just don't want to lean into that pain. And so if you think of it that way, if you think of something that you haven't shifted and you looked at it and you said, is it uncomfortable? Is there a story that actually I'm saying to myself about why? Is the change of staying the way you are easier than the pain of moving?
Mhm.
So when you look at it that way, think about what other sort of situations you have let just continue. You want to lose weight, but you know it requires hard work, dedication. So change in habit. If you're thinking of those things, why haven't you been able to do it to date? So I always like to explain to people why we fear change, and then I help them to work through it. And I've got 5 tips that I use with people,
Yeah,
which I'd love to share if that would be
yeah,
okay.
that would be awesome because we need these tools, first, these frameworks of how that we can hold on to, that we can
Yeah,
utilize to feel in a safer place to make these changes. Yeah, to also understand
yeah,
how our mindset works, to really,
yes,
okay, now I really feel uncomfortable, but that means I'm out of my comfort zone that keeps me safe. But it's a good thing to step out of this comfort zone to bring about this change. So, what are these five steps or the five
I'd love to share.
have to do? Yeah,
Yes, yes. The first one I talk about is do the healing. Find some way to heal what you've been through, and healing is about creating, uh, cleaning up some of the trauma and the incidences that have happened in your life. We all go through trauma, and my trauma is different to your trauma, which is different to someone else's trauma. So there's no judging the trauma. It all feels painful. And those incidences create stories in your head, limiting beliefs, where you feel like I can't do this because I fail every test because every time I've tried to do a test, and that might have been in year 3, you might have had that incident. If we try and make changes and we haven't changed those stories, we're really trying. It's a tough battle. We've got to change those stories. So do the healing. Find someone in your life, and there's lots of different modalities. I use CTC, which is a neuro-linguistic programming base. There's psychologists, there's trauma therapists, there's counselors, there's acupuncture. There's many different ways. Trauma stores itself in the body. You know, you might have an amazing chiropractor that does some um, acupressure work, whatever it takes. But do the healing and go and start doing that. Help yourself to understand what it is that's holding you back. My second tip is understand your resistance. Why are you resisting this? Why is it something that is creating this block? When you think about your goal, where do you feel it, and what are you feeling in your body? Are you feeling, oh, I want to lose weight, and instantly there's some pain somewhere, or there's some sort of trigger or a heaviness? What's that resistance? Most people just cover it up. But leaning into it actually helps you to unveil. It gives you a better quality of life, because actually you are learning and realizing that your past experiences don't create your future. So when you lean into the resistance, it actually gives you a chance to understand what is holding you back. What are the stories you're telling yourself? So it might still be there, and we're going to have resistance no matter how evolved we are. We have these things keep coming up. We're like onions, we delayer continually. The third step is honor your word. So if you say you're going to do something, honor what you say you do. We are amazing at honoring our word to others. We say we're going to get something done by a deadline. We're up to midnight getting it done, so it's ready, it's professional. We say we're going to help someone move, and we've got 1,000 things to do at home, but we're committed to that. We honor our word. But do we honor our word to ourselves? If we set a goal and we say gym 3 days a week, if we say we're saving for this, if we say I'm going to actually plan this holiday, what are we doing to make sure that we achieve that? Honor our word to ourselves. It's so important. It's the biggest part of actually saying, I'm important. I'm important to me, and what I say matters, and what I say helps us. When we ignore our word, we unconsciously create this more limiting beliefs that we're not worthy, that we're not honorable enough. We feel bad about not honoring our word to ourselves. So honoring your word, it's helpful to think, how would your life be different if you did this? What would it cost you?
And also, once we have done it, we went this step further. We are
Yes,
so proud of ourselves, so that
yes,
automatically increases our self worth, and
yes,
we wanna do more. So it inspires,
yes,
motivates us at the same time, I suppose.
yeah. Well, that leads to me to my fourth tip, which is transcend belief. It's look at a time when you've done something in your life. So it can be small, but once you realize you can do it, what about the time you managed to run that race or get that project done? Even if it was a small project, you know you've done it. Find a moment that actually has been something you've delivered on. We've all got them. They might feel small, but actually you've done it once, you just expand that learning.
Mm.
And my fifth tip that I really love, this is about finding a fresh start. So there's a lot of science and research around when you want to create a new change, what can you anchor it to? So if you want to, a lot of people do New Year's Day. New Year's Eve, I'm doing this is my goal for the year, and I'm starting off and I'm ready. But if you're actually going to create it, it could be anything. It could be a birthday, it could be a milestone, it could be the first day of the season, it might just be the first of the month. Find something that means something to you. It might be preparing for a beautiful family moment. If you want to find something and set yourself a goal, attach it to something that has meaning. And that makes it a whole lot easier for you to actually embed that change, create that new habit that you need.
Wonderful. That are the first 5 steps. And thank you so much for that, because it really guides us through the process. And once we have gone through that process, how can we basically bring everything into balance? Because it's going to be a new place where we are. And
Yeah,
how can we best settle into that going forward, like long term?
there's a few tips that I give my clients about this. So what we do is we create that vision that you want to achieve. And when you create that vision that you want to achieve, you actually just see that with single purpose clarity. This is where I'm going. This is it. Whether it's a new job. I have this amazing story from someone who had this vision of flying one of the newer planes. And she had a target on her vision board of seeing herself in a cockpit flying this plane into Australia. And it was a while, but 11 years, or there was a time limit, she actually flew that plane into Australia as part of the inaugural flight. And that is the power of being really clear on your vision. This is what she wanted to do. And when you've got that habit, if you don't, Simon Sinek always says, start with the why. Why do you want it? Create that moment. Then when you're going through all these moments of the change is hard, it requires honoring my word, I'm really having to change habits, you just keep referring back. So you have this really super clear vision.
Mhm.
Anchor it into habits. So if you want to do something, say you've got a TV show you love watching every day, but you have a plan and a goal to see a fitter, healthier self, maybe you watch it only at the gym. You anchor it into a habit where it becomes part of that lifestyle. So it becomes this shift. Short-term change is around just getting it ticking and flicking and getting it done, but not solving any of the mindset and the beliefs around what you want to do. It just becomes part of your life. It's why is this so important to you?
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
the other thing, it
Sorry,
is, sorry, the other thing I was going to say, oh yeah, go, Bridget. Yeah.
sorry. Just remember what you want to say, but that's interesting because a lot of people don't know how to cope with living in the here and now, but having at the same time a vision. So it's basically referring back all the time and anchoring your vision in everyday life with how
Yes,
you want to act or be like in the future, but at the same time you are not there yet, so you have to do something to work towards it, and
yes,
also appreciate the here and now, that you are doing your job, that you are
agreed.
on it, that
Yes,
brings you closer to your vision. I think that was really,
yes.
thank you. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's a nice way to say it. What I was going to say was to help you at those moments when you're navigating it and it feels a bit hard. Brene Brown has this beautiful concept about towards and away values. When you're thinking about decisions, we've got two emotions. There's two, they say there's, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross says there's two primary emotions, love and fear. So when you're making a decision, what are you making that decision on? Is it based on love or fear? If you're scared of a presentation at work and you decide not to do it, but still your goal is to be a speaker where people pay to come and listen, or you're doing keynotes, you know in your mind that you actually have to do it, but in that moment you make a decision based on fear. And so your fear is that, what if it doesn't work out? What if I make a mistake? If you just said, I've actually done the work for this, I know I'm ready, I know the content, I'm going to make that decision based on love. And I'm going to go towards my goal. I think that's really fundamental. Are you going towards your goal or are you going away? And you notice it a lot in kids. If you think about what kids do, they'll make decisions based on, I'm not going to go to school today, Mum, I haven't done my assignment, or whatever. I won't run in that race, especially as teenagers when they just want to fit in. I won't run in that race because I might lose. What if you win? But I
Mhm.
might lose. But what if you don't? What if you win? And what if you try really hard? And what if you inspire someone else? And you can just feel the difference in the conversation. So I think that's how, when you want to create change that sticks, it's changing the way you think about things. It's creating those, like just thinking, am I going towards or away something? Am I doing a love or fear-based decision? And I think for myself, I will often, even tonight coming on and talking with you, it's exciting and I love sharing what I know and what the experiences I have. But it's a bit scary. Do I know enough? And well, all I can do is share with what I know.
Mhm.
So if I relax into that space, then it's way more interesting and fun for me and for you. If I'm nervous, and it's just a matter of going, well, that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
And that's how you create these little micro moments where you make decisions, opportunities arise, and you go, okay, love or fear, towards or away.
Mm. Wow.
And then you know yourself. That's when you know yourself.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And so if I want to go one step further and say, okay, now I know how to put myself into a positive mindset, and I'm going towards something, and I make my decisions based on love. There are still some days that I'm not feeling in my best version. So how do I kind of get myself into this zone of genius and be able to live it
Yes.
like most of the time? How do I do that?
You know what? I would say it's fine to have those days and those moments where things, because you've got to process things. You might have a harder day. When we go through challenges, sometimes it's tough, and that's okay. It's how you face. How long do you stay in that feeling? Recognizing it, and then what are your tools and techniques? So some people say, you know what? Absolutely, in that moment, I go and ground myself in a park, or I go and do some exercise. I might go for a swim. I might do something, and that invigorates me. What invigorates you? And this is a matter of knowing what actually helps you in your life.
Mhm.
So, and allow the thoughts to bubble up. Hiding it and stuffing it away and going, you can't just think positive thoughts all the time. Actually, you've got to have to say, as you get more experienced, you will know to say, well, what's the trigger in this for me? Why am I feeling frustrated? Why am I feeling like I'm being bossed around and told what to do at work? What is that experience telling me? Okay, well, it could be telling me a few things, and that's when you lean in. This is when you lean into that resistance that I talked about. You lean in, you go, actually, I'm really going to have to understand that.
Mhm.
That might be where you do more healing. That might be when you actually go, how do I best process things? Do I journal? Do I
Mhm.
verbally process? Do
Mhm.
I paint? Am I creative? And you allow yourself to go through the emotions,
Yeah.
but always knowing you don't stay for long. Come out of it at the other end.
That's that's awesome. That's unbelievable. I love this advice, and I think all the audience, the listeners, yeah, will just are ready to take action right now because that's so helpful.
Beautiful.
every single step. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Okay, now I'm gonna come back to you, and because
Yeah.
you are in your sweet spot and you are in your best version, and that also means if
Yeah.
we are in our best version, we are a strong personal brand. So I would like to know from you, what is the singular thing that differentiates you, that sets you apart from the competition? The singular thing that only you can provide in your sphere. So why would now someone choose you over someone else? What's the benefit that you provide that others cannot provide?
I think the singular point would be the wealth of experience and the toolkit. So because I understand corporate life, I've got experience in that space, which is where a lot of people carry uh, the outcomes from the experiences they've been through. But I also have a lot of experience, like a lot of different techniques and approaches that I use, which personalizes it. So it's actually what's the right tool for this moment, and
Mm,
uh, that's where I find the most joy in actually working with someone and saying, what do they need in this moment? Where is this? I work very intuitively, so I work with the person and the moment, the situation and the space they're in. So, what is this person needing right now?
mm,
And I think that is the point of difference for me. It's really about I really try to unearth it and then help change stick.
mm.
Let's just make this something that you go forward. And I love what I see every day with my clients. It's the transformation that happens because we actually do the underlying work.
Beautiful. You also say, you mentioned that authenticity is key. And do you have any helpful advice how we can even be, let's say, really step into this being authentic towards the world and serve our clients in an authentic way, and thereby, I think when we are authentic, we are ourselves, right? But how do we as an individual, as a personal brand in the context of an organization, but also as an entrepreneur, can be authentic and be in this best place to serve others in the best possible way?
I think I spent a lot of years not feeling like I was authentic. And I didn't talk about my coaching, I didn't talk about at my previous roles because I wasn't sure how it would be taken. And because I've done the natural therapies and I have a very different view of the world to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Reiki master. I believe in emotional freedom technique, and it's not necessarily accepted by everyone. So it takes a bit of courage to be authentically you. But I think if you do the work on yourself and you feel like you're aligned with where you should be in your purpose in the world, then it doesn't feel as challenging. You don't feel like you're always having to justify who you are. And there's this beautiful concept where you just love everyone enough to let them do their own thing. So you cannot heal your friends. I can't heal people that don't want to be healed. And so that authentically piece is actually sometimes it's right to say, maybe we're not the right fit for each other at the moment. But that's me being authentic to what I do and being the right person for that person, the right healer, the right coach. When I'm authentically me, people are interested in the um, energy you bring. One of my last jobs that I was finishing up, they said to me as I was leaving, they said, "Oh my God," she said, "I loved being around you, and I didn't know what it was. It was just your energy. There was something around you. If you're authentically you, if you're authentically comfortable in yourself, and you've got this peace and contentment, you magnify it out, and other people look to you and go, I want a bit of that. What does that look like? I don't know what she's doing, but I really like that." And that's what I'm noticing. The more authentic I am for myself, I'm able to observe interactions. I'm able to observe what I do and what I want to do because I look into my own triggers. But I'm also giving off this energy that people just want to be around. And it's really through just being content with myself. And it takes time. I think be kind to yourself about it. It does take time. It takes doing work. And like I said, we continually evolve. There's always new lessons for us to learn in life. And so not letting the ego overtake you about being the only person for everyone. It's that there's enough for everyone in this world. If you've got a passion to do something, see how you can make it work. What can you do? What little steps can you take? And when the more you do of that, the more authentic you feel about yourself. Look, I've got a fairly big job that it's busy, but the coaching so lifts me up. I love facilitating. I love talking to people and helping them see a different view. And I find that so nourishing and rewarding for myself that I want to bring it into everything I do. So that to me is authentic. When I can talk about concepts, not feel threatened, just feel like I'm explaining it. And it's this love based decision. I do it because I want other people to see the opportunities that they can have. I want them to live their very best version of their own life. If they could do that, that would be amazing. If I can help on their journey, that would be amazing. That's my authentic approach. When I'm not authentic to myself, I feel uncomfortable saying anything about it or not wanting to, um, in case they ridicule me. Well, if they ridicule, then that's on them. I gave them the opportunity, they're just not ready for me. It's just that change of mindset, change of view. You reframe the situation. I hope that helps, that last bit, because it is a great question. It's really about people feeling just so centered that they are comfortable in who they are.
Exactly. Yeah. Fiona, are you willing to share any experience in your life that was a major learning for you? Maybe a setback or a detour uh, that was, in hindsight, so important for your development, for you growing going forward. Is there anything that you would like to share with us? Something very significant that brought you to
Yeah, a
the
few
place
years.
you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. There was an experience at work that I found really challenging, and this would have been about 6, 7 years ago, and it was a project I was on, and it was just really uncomfortable. I was feeling like I wasn't being my best self. It was there was a lot of friction, and it encouraged me because it became the pain of staying the way I was worse than the pain of changing. So it started my journey of looking at what else I wanted to do. What did I want to be? I went and did my CTC therapy certification. I started change management at uni. I um, then I left, and in leaving, that was amazing. Like it was really hard, but it was the beginning of the rest of my life. So, but when I was at work in the beginning, the friction and the discomfort was really high. So I found it really hard.
Mm.
And it was not just days, it was months, possibly a couple of years, really, when I look at it holistically. And hindsight's amazing. But when I look back, I go, I was getting signs from early on that it was time for me to do something different. And I got scared. I felt fearful. Well, who else could I work for? What else can I do? I don't have all these diverse skills. Actually, I did, but I just didn't see it.
Mm.
So something there. And when I looked around at that moment, I realized I had a lot of opportunities and avenues that I could pursue. Was I brave enough to take them? Was I brave to say, this is really important for me? So, I look at that moment as going, this was the gift from that experience. And what it means is I'm an even better coach because I've been through it as well. And that's what most people do. They're at that juncture point where they've got a career, they've been in it for a long time, they want to do something new, they want to try, they know they've got experience, but they don't know how to apply it. And that's when you go, okay, let's just see what we can do here.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they'll be surprised at what opportunities are there. They just don't see them.
Exactly, because we don't see them and then we feel really uncomfortable under pressure. And then it's sometimes very good to have an outside perspective, someone else who is helping us, seeing it really from either a bird's
Yes.
view or another perspective, or it just takes some time and to
Yeah.
get the answers. Yeah. So thank you for
Yeah.
us this example. And very often it's that what we are doing, we went through it ourselves.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I'm sure you've got a few examples yourself in that
Oh,
in
yes.
that experience.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are almost at the end of our show, Fiona, and I would like to do some rapid fire terms with you.
Okay.
Are you,
Okay.
yeah, are you ready to give me short and
I'm ready.
yeah, okay. Change management.
Okay. Okay.
Change management.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I've. So you just want me to respond with something?
Yeah, just very quickly, what's top of your mind when it comes to change management?
Okay. Change. Critical for all aspects of work.
Success.
Personally defined.
Mhm. Mindset.
Uh, it's yours to govern.
Women empowerment.
I would love to see more of that.
Go ahead.
Um, my passion is for women to remind themselves how powerful they are.
Beautiful. And last but not least, brains.
Brains are designed to keep you safe. Um, so use your heart and soul as a guide as well.
Okay, cool. Fiona, where can listeners find you if they want to get in touch with you?
Oh, perfect. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, and I've got a website, fionadjapouras.com. So I'd love to hear from anyone. Happy to have a conversation, a complimentary conversation, and just understand what they need and where they're at, and if I can support them in their journey.
Beautiful. All right. So, Fiona, thank you so much for being my guest today on Brains Talk. And it
Thank
was a pleasure having you. I mean, to discuss about how to overcome this resistance to change so that we can create an extraordinary life. Thank you, Fiona.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and that was another Brains Talk live today. Thank you for tuning in. Please give your social love and leave your comments below. Did you know that you can listen to this show also as a podcast on your go? Just follow Brains Talk on your favorite platform. And one more thing, if you are interested in learning more about my services, head over to my website, bridgetbrands.com. I hope you will join me again when we dive into the world of brains, life, or by having me in your earbuds walking the talk. Bye for now. Let's shine. You deserve it.